him. So then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to even do this. I'm not going to even worry about it. And so next thing I know, he ended up talking to my best friend. He's talking to my best friend saying, you know, hey, she did this and she did that. And my best friend like, yo, Mo, she be having money. She, you know, she got Louis Vuitton bags. She got this. So you ain't finna come for her like that.
Right.
So then she was like, well, he really just wants y'all to sit down and talk. I said, okay. I gave him another shot. Gave him another shot.
Oh, my God.
He says, you know what? I'm coming to Atlanta. We finna put this to rest. I'm coming to Atlanta. This, that, and third and other. I was like, okay, cool. I waited. I saw on his Facebook page that he had checked into the Atlanta airport.
Okay.
And he showed a Uber screenshot where he was catching an Uber. And so I thought he was here until I didn't hear from him the rest of the day. So it just so happens that my best friend was friends with another girl who was from South Carolina, who was his mutual. And they called me on three-way and she said, Mo, I don't think he got a girlfriend. I don't know what's up. She said, but you know what? I'm not really friends with him. I'm friends with his sister, but we're friends on Facebook because I do know him.
Yeah.
So she reached out to him. She talked to him. He want another chance. Okay, we're going to give him another chance. But he still was acting stupid. She said, you know, I'm done. I'm going to call his sister.
Oh.
Called his sister on three-way. Sister say, honey, go back and work stuff out with your husband because my brother, he does this. This is what he does. She was like, he has a whole fiance. They live together. I said, well, what's all this about his daughter coming? She was like, his daughter, he don't even have custody of his daughter. He can't even see his daughter. Everything he's telling you is a lie.
What?
She was like, the car that he's FaceTiming you in is the girl's car. He doesn't call you at a certain time because he's going to pick her up from work and they live together. The ring that he shows you, she was like, this ain't the first time. You ain't the only one. He do this to everybody. She was like, that's her ring that she bought for them to get married.
What?
He was not a cop like he said he was. He was using his sister's husband's uniform. Yeah.
So, hey everybody, it's your girl DJ with Plan for Keys podcast. Today we have Mo Clark, the podcast host and creator of the Post Up, broadcasted through several platforms. This show is dedicated to all things media and entertainment. She chats with everyone from actors to entrepreneurs and enjoys hearing their stories and journeys throughout how they've started their branding and networking. Mo Clark also attends several media events to conduct on-site interviews and behind-the-scene coverage. She has interviewed Toya Wright from The Family Hustle, I Am Zoe from MTV Wildin' Out, hip-hop pioneer Michael Montana, and several other influencers and artists in the entertainment industry. In addition to podcasting and vlogging, Mo Clark has written several articles in Sheen, Femi, and Control magazine. How are you today?
I am amazing. How are you?
I am good. You have done a lot in the industry. Yeah. And I've been following you since I discovered you. Before we dive into Dating Chronicles, where you give a funny, crazy, or lesson learned dating story, I love to learn about all of my guests and would love to learn more about you and how you got started with your podcast, your vlogging, and just writing and all of that great stuff.
Ooh, let's see. So, I had an experience where I lost a child. I had an ectopic pregnancy, which I had never, ever in my life heard of until I went through it. Okay. And I don't know if you know what that is, but basically that's when the baby gets stuck in your tubes and they have to take your tube. And that literally devastated me. So prior to losing the baby, I was working on a lipstick line. So when all of that stuff happened with the baby, I kind of fell into a depression, and I know this older lady, she was like a second mom to me. She babysat my kids and everything, and she fussed at me, and she was like, okay, you know what? You need to get up, fix your face, do what you got to do. And, you know, you can still mourn the baby, whatever, but you got to snap out of it. Mm-hmm. And so at the time, I didn't know what an influencer was. I just wanted to mimic what I thought other people were doing.
Okay.
So I hopped on Facebook. I had a Facebook page for years, and I started getting put in these Facebook groups. And so I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to promote my stuff. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to promote my lipstick line. So I didn't know what an influencer was. And I didn't know the rules of the groups. So I just went in and, introduced myself. Hey, I'm Mo, X, Y, and Z. And I remember a guy made a comment. He was like, oh, she just said, damn, the group. She just going to take a picture in front of a bed sheet and post. And I was like, oh, my God, that was rude.
Right.
But the thing was, I was on, because of the loss of the baby, I was on hydrocodone and Percocet.
Ooh.
I had to alternate, right?
Okay.
So I had no filter, basically, because I was pretty much drugged up.
Okay.
So I was really popping off at these people. Anytime they said something wrong, like, you're dealing with grief, you're dealing with a lot on top of being medicated.
Wow.
And I just remember people saying, "Ooh, we like the new girl." And I got these friends, in the group world. And then I started running Facebook groups, and I was an admin, and I thought that was a real position. Like, back then, I was like, oh, they can't talk to me like this. I'm an admin, or I'm CEO of this Facebook group, and I'm and I just really thought that was real life.
Yeah.
Because these people was out here running these Facebook groups like Death Row. Like, they really gave you positions.
Yeah.
And I really felt in charge. People was calling me with their issues. Oh, so-and-so took down my post, or so. And I'm like, oh, my God. But I was in charge, right?
Yeah.
So then it started going to promoting the nightclub. So now I'm queen pin of the Facebook groups. I'm promoting nightclubs in Atlanta.
No.
And I'm doing all of these things. And this guy hit me up. He was like, yo, we got an internet radio show I think you would be good on. And I ignored him, at first, because I was like, oh, this dude just trying to talk to me. I ain't paying him no mind. And so 2 years passed by. He hit me up again. And I was going through a bad relationship. And I kind of needed an outlet, I guess. And I said, you know what, let me go try this. So when I went to the station, I was supposed to be a rotating chair. So I was supposed to come like once a month or whatever.
Okay.
But they liked me, and I stayed. And I was doing a lot. I was booking guests. I was making flyers. I was doing all this stuff. Then came marriage number 2.
Okay.
When marriage number 2 came, I was extremely busy with, planning the wedding and all this and all that. And I couldn't dedicate that much time to the show. And they got upset. And they decided they didn't want me on the show anymore. Of course, they came to the wedding. This was after the wedding and all of that. And I was devastated because I thought of these people as my friends, as my family. Yeah. And at the time, I felt like that was the only thing I had going for myself. I was on this internet radio show.
Yeah.
So I had several people saying, Mo, you good, though. Start your own stuff. And I literally remember saying, I can't do it. Who I'm going to talk to? I don't know who to talk. I don't even know. I can't talk to myself. Like, I will never forget saying those words. And then one day, I just hopped on Amazon. I started looking up different mics. Yes. I started running up and down the steps, testing them out. And I started reaching out to people that I knew or people that I made connections with. And I started interviewing in a hotel lobby. I did. I started interviewing in a hotel lobby with my iPhone and my little mics off Amazon.
Yo, that is so
I was going on different websites, if somebody was doing an event, I found out what the email address was. I emailed them, hey, I do media, even though I didn't, in my mind I did media, but, in real life I wasn't doing it. Can I come out to your event? And they would say yes. And I would go out with these Amazon mics and my iPhone and try to capture footage. And I never really looked back because these people literally were sitting in the hotel lobby with me. And they were cool with it. The people at the hotel were cool with it. They was like, just don't get the signage, because.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But then I had to kind of switch my environment because one day they had a cheer competition.
Oh.
Yeah. And as we were filming, sitting like this, and we had the fireplace behind us, it was very beautiful. Mm-hmm. You just see all these little white girls walking by looking like they're teenage, I'm saying white girls because they're literally no black girls. And they were just walking by, and I was like, ooh, that's gonna mess this up.
Yeah.
And I knew then it was probably time to leave the hotel lobby at that point.
Got you. So how did you migrate from the hotel lobby to just kind of like what you're doing now?
It was a lot. I ended up finding a station at the Battery, and I did my show there, and it was on Sundays. So I started doing my show there, and there was a little financial mishap between me and them. It was on both parties' fault, and I showed up one day to the show, and my guest was there, but nobody was there to engineer my show.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, Mo, you got to balance. And I'm like, oh, my God. But, okay, cool. Business is business. Your friendships go out the door. Business is business. And then I found another station to go to. And when I found that other station to go to, it just so happened at the time, Johnny Cabell, he was, hey, I be watching you online. I like your conversation. I want to bring you in as a co-host on my show. That's dope. Okay, there's a difference between being a co-host and a host. So I was at this station being a host of my show, and I was ramping up to go to his show to be a co-host.
Okay.
So we took pictures, and as soon as the promo material came out, the people at the other station was like, you can't do that. That's competing.
What?
I was like, but you do know it's his show. It's not my show. No, but it's in your contract. See, now that's the thing. I never signed a contract with you guys, so I don't even know what we're talking about right now. First and foremost. Secondly, I pay you guys. I pay you guys to have my show on your platform.
Wow.
So Johnny reached out to them. He tried to explain. You do know Mo is just a co-host, right? You do know this is my show. Why y'all doing Mo like that? And there was no explanation. So I ended up taking my show to the same station where Johnny was having his show. And I've been there ever since.
So it all worked out.
It did work out. Now, as far as the, me going out and doing red carpet stuff, I was doing that a little bit before COVID hit anyway.
Okay.
And I wasn't necessarily on the carpet because I didn't have anybody to hold the camera for me. I didn't have anybody to film. So I would always go out there and take pictures and all of this. And I was always unorganized because I was supposed to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So I'm always out there just trying to flip lenses. It was just a mess. It was always a mess. It was always a mess. I was always a mess. And when COVID hit, they shut everything down. And then as they gradually start opening things up, I had started dating a new guy. He had a young son. And I was like, I can't be out here like that because the little boy was only 6 and he couldn't be vaccinated.
Got you.
So in December of 2022, some things kind of happened. And I was like, you know what? Let me get back on it. I reached out to Sheen. I reached out to Femi. And I asked them, are you guys looking for more bloggers? Do you look for more writers? They said yes. With my brand, The Post Up, because I do writing and blogging on my own site. Mm-hmm. When I pitch myself to people, hey, I want an RSVP to come out. Okay. Because I have footage to back it up.
Right.
You can go on YouTube and see me interviewing in the hotel lobby. You can see, my first event that I messed up but didn't mess up. But she didn't, so you can see that stuff. So I think I'm just constantly elevating. I want to continue elevating.
How did you get to the point where you did have a camera person? Because I remember seeing you interviewing Funny Marco.
Yeah.
I said, oh, snap, she got an opportunity to talk to him.
My daughter actually filmed that.
You go ahead. That's
so my oldest daughter, she actually filmed that. My husband, he goes out with me sometimes as well. That's and dope. He films, but because of his job and the things that he does, he can't always be there. So I call it imaginary Chris, which is my tripod, because I can't. It's kind of hard when you put yourself in those situations sometimes, because when you're doing red carpet interviews, sometimes the space is so tight.
Yeah.
It is so tight. And I am so fearful because people will knock your camera over.
Yeah, they will.
They will knock your camera over. And the only thing they're going to say, ooh, my bad. No, bro, look, we can't play like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No matter how much, because I have had, the $100 cameras. I've had the $800, $500 cameras. And I'm sorry, a loss is a loss, period. Yeah. I don't care how much it costs me.
Yeah.
I need my stuff. And of course, I started so long ago that when I started and they were doing like the red carpet media events, they were like, oh, no, you can't go out here with your cell phone because they'll laugh at you. They'll laugh at you for taking your cell phone. But now here we are 10 years later, and they're making equipment for your cell phone to go out there and do these things. And your megapixels in your phone are pretty much the same as the camera.
Sometimes even better.
Even better, right. You can have a iPhone 14 Pro Max or whatever and have like 24 megapixels and get a $500, $800 camera with the same megapixel.
Right.
And for me, I do have a MacBook. I do have a fully loaded MacBook, right? With all the software. But it's so much easier to do stuff from my phone.
It is.
So I be quick with it. I got all kind of plugs. I can leave an event. I plug the little thing right into my phone, da-da-da-da-da, and boom, my stuff is on IG. Right. Or at least a snippet, right?
Mm-hmm. No, I have a GoPro camera that has an app that's connected to my phone, and that helps. That's a lifesaver.
It is,
and that's nothing but I think my camera was like $300.
It helps you get your content out faster. Of course, you don't necessarily want to get it out faster. You want quality content.
Yeah,
but getting it out faster don't hurt.
It don't at all,
especially the snippets.
And what I've learned too. People aren't paying attention to what you're paying attention to. Like the megapixels and stuff you were just speaking of. Mm-hmm. Don't nobody really know about that, and they pay attention to that for real. As long as you got good lighting and all of that stuff, you good to go.
Yeah, I've seen some people make some really, really dope content with their self. In fact, Funny Marco said it. He said it himself. He said that, hey, everything I did was shot with the phone. Mm-hmm. So it's basically just you and what you're comfortable with. Because even when you when they send out the blast for an event and you fill it out, they do ask you, hey, are you bringing a camera? Are you bringing a camera and a tripod? Are you bringing your cell phones? And I'm just sitting there like, dang, like all this time, y'all would have been cool with the cell phone? That's insane. So.
Got you. So let me ask you this, because I know you mentioned all the things that you mentioned. You also do PR for different people as well.
I do.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when I first started doing PR, I didn't know what I was doing, obviously. And I had a couple of guys that I was running with, funny ass Myron, who now, or no, I'm sorry, not funny ass Myron, cheating ass Myron, who now he goes by Myron Jewel, obviously, because he wants to expand his brand.
Okay.
Rozzy, and who else did I do? Shooter from Love and Hip Hop.
Okay.
And that was pretty much me just putting their press kits together and pitching them to different people. And then I kind of had to scale back a bit because life be lifing, and I just had a lot going on, and I was doing so much. Like, I was going to my boutique. I was filming 12 to 16 TikToks a day with different wigs, different outfits, and trying to post them and promote them and all that stuff. And it was just a lot.
Got you. Okay, so have you taken a back seat from PR, or is that
No, I actually just started back up. Anybody can say that they're anything on social media, right? And I remember talking to a PR. I was like, yeah, I want to do this, but I never finished college for this. And the girl looked at me and she was like, I ain't go to college for this neither. What? That's insane. That's crazy. You got these people out here paying you $3,000, $5,000 a month. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But then in my mind, I was like, I don't want to be that person. Mm-hmm. To mess up somebody's stuff.
Got you.
That's just me.
Yeah.
So I am currently taking a course to be certified in it because I want some kind of paper trail behind me.
Absolutely.
Period, point blank. I want the people that I'm currently working with, they trust me, and I am producing results. And I am learning certain things. Like, you cannot pitch every single client to every single outlet because your clients may do different things. So you have to find the correct outlet for your client. You do have to, network. And I'm learning that because I was always one. I ain't gonna lie. I just learned this last week. I ain't gonna even hold you though. I was one of the ones. Definitely wearing my heart on my sleeve. And I was going places, running my mouth and saying, yeah, that bitch don't like me. Yeah, she don't like me. Yeah, I don't even know why I'm here. She don't even like me. Ooh, I wasn't bashing the person. I was just letting other people know that I felt like so-and-so didn't like
Got
me.
you.
But then when I get to the events, I'm seeing so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, all us at the same stuff. All of us are at the same stuff.
Yeah.
Every single time. We're all here. And they, I feel, are nice, but not a genuine nice. But hey, it's business, So I don't want to break those bonds or those relationships. I ain't got to be their BFFs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to go to their house and play white elephant in the room or whatever. I ain't got to do that for Christmas. I just need to be professional.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Even if I feel something, even if I feel they don't like me or they don't care for me, I'm still gonna fall back from saying it out loud to other people because I don't want to look like I'm the problem. Even though sometimes you know what you know and you know what you know. You ain't got to tell everybody. Just keep it to yourself.
Got you. I've learned that for myself. I ain't going to dig it further because a question popped in my head. And I was like, you know what? Let me ask you this question.
Listen, I just learned it last week, so I ain't no pro yet. I just learned it last week. I was like, hey, look, yeah, let's not do this anymore.
Got you. Okay. Now, with everything that you are doing, like, what is the aspiration? What is the ultimate goal for you and your brand?
Honestly, I literally love absolutely every single thing that I do. And I have often been told, hey, you need to stop this and just focus on one thing, and that's why your brands aren't growing. But at the same time, I've seen it both ways. I've seen people have multiple streams of income, and they're focusing on everything. So I love everything I do. I love doing the PR work. I love doing the graphics and putting, the flyers and stuff together. I love doing my podcast and talking to people and interviewing people. I love doing red carpet. I obviously love my boutique. My boutique is named after my kids. So I was kind of hoping they'd take it over, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they want to do that. But, I'm passionate about every single thing that I do. So I would say for me, the ultimate goal for me would be, should I ever leave this world, that people remember all the accolades and all the good things that I've done. I don't care about the fame. I don't care about the fortune, because it's just what it is. Somebody said something about money don't buy happiness. It's not that, it don't buy happiness, but it buy you stuff that make you happy. But once you've accomplished those things and get that stuff, then what? A lot of times I can be dealing with something at home or mentally that people don't know about because I don't talk about it. And people think they believe everything they see on social media. So my goal is to always be authentic as possible. Because if you watch everything that people do on social media, you'll get depressed, you'll become suicidal, you'll be competing with everybody and comparing yourself. And it will really rip you apart.
It will.
So I want to always be open and honest and authentic and let everybody know, girl, look, some days, look, I've been asleep all day today dealing with something emotionally.
Right.
But I made a commitment to be here to do this interview. And we booked this a month ago. Yeah. So why am I going to say, hey, you know what, I'm not coming just because I don't feel good or this way. No, I'm not going to do that.
Well, I appreciate you coming out, and I appreciate you putting your best foot forward and being authentic, because there's not a lot of people doing that. There's not.
It's not.
They're not. It's not. So before we dive into Dating Chronicles, one more question. As far as you just putting yourself out there, taking on all of these different things, how did you gain the courage to do that?
I don't even want to say gain the courage. I've been a talker my whole life. Okay. My uncle's nickname for me was Talk a Lot because I talked a lot. I'm only child, and growing up, I never had anybody to play with, and I had to let my imagination do its thing. So I remember sitting at the table with boxes of cereal, acting like I was in commercials, and doing what I literally do now. And it's insane to think that you was doing this type of stuff as a child just because. Like, I pretended I had my own talk show, and my Barbie dolls pretended they, that's just what it was. So it's not in me, it is me.
Got you. But dusting yourself off, like after something happened, how did you push through that? Because a lot of people would just be like, all right, well, forget it. This ain't for me, or maybe my imagination was just imaginationing. Like, what?
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. Because I feel like every industry that you're in, there's always going to be something, no matter what you do.
That's true.
You could be a social media content creator. You gonna have a group of content creators that don't like you, or they hate on you, or they don't support you, or they're competing with you. Even in media, I know that I have certain people that don't really care for me because they're just now seeing me come to the front of the camera. When that's what I was always supposed to be doing. I just didn't have anybody to hold the camera for me. So now it's kind of looking like, where the hell she come from? Yeah, she just jumped out here. How she get an interview with T.I. and da-da-da, and it's not even courage. It's me. And I feel like I am walking in my purpose on purpose.
What advice would you give to somebody, though?
To just start, because no matter what I've done, whether, it was trying to learn my makeup from a YouTuber and start my YouTube channel. When I started my makeup YouTube channel, child, I was dropping brushes all over the place. I was like, damn it, and I was doing all these things on camera, and you still couldn't tell me I wasn't the junk. I thought I was the junk, period. Drop brushes, messed up eyebrow, whatever it was, that's how I thought. But just start, because, when you look at these makeup creators, these content creators, sometimes they don't always show you the beginning.
No, they don't.
They don't show you the beginning. You just be sitting there thinking, dang, how she do that? Shoot, how long you been? They lie. They don't tell the backstories. I talk to my daughter about this often because she's a content creator, and she's very, very popular. And I can remember us having a conversation where I was like, baby, you don't have to dress like a character every time we go out the house. You know that girl you following, she could be a nurse. She ain't dressing like that at work. Right. You gotta kind of separate fiction from reality and think about what they're posting. So I just think just start. Don't wait.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. People sit and wait, and they'll sit and
don't
wait.
start. I mean, just start. Don't wait till you got the perfect camera. Don't wait till you got the perfect mic. Just start and post it. And yeah, it may look crazy, but guess what? You have a electronic footprint of your growth. So just start. I have a friend who. She's just like me. We have challenges and things that happen. And she came to me one day and she was like, Mo, I like this camera. What you think? So in my mind, I was like, that's a cheap ass camera. I was like, that's a cheap ass camera and that ain't gonna work. But I ended up ordering the camera, and I fiddled around with the settings a little bit. And then I put the camera down. I never talked about it. I never discussed it. My intentions were to talk about it and discuss it. I never got around to it. Mm-hmm. But then this same camera went viral on TikTok.
It usually be that, for real.
It went viral on TikTok. I was like, hold on, let me check the box and see if that's the same one I got. Yup, it's the same one I got. So I made a video telling the people how to get the best quality out the camera. And then I called my friend up and I said, you know what? I appreciate you. I'm going to tell you, I ordered this camera a long time ago and I just never circled back with you. But here's your camera. I ordered her a mic. I showed her how to plug the mic up and all of this. Because even though I told her, hey, look, it just, it is $100 camera. But look, leave it on these settings. If you got any questions, call me. We can figure it out. And once you learn how to use this, we'll revisit something else.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Because I just wanted her to just start.
That's what's up. It definitely shows your character as a friend. So that is what's up.
I wanted her to start. I know what it's like some people have that whole crabs in the bucket thing. They don't want to teach you. They don't want to show you.
Yeah.
Some people even say, hey, I support you. I want to see you win. But the thing is, some people want to see you win, but they don't want to see you surpass them.
Yeah.
They want to, limit what you do, and that sucks, but it happens.
Yeah. Well, I'm thankful for the person you are and thankful that you made it onto the show today. So we're going to dive into Dating Chronicles.
This is the fun part.
Where you give a funny, crazy, or lesson learned dating story. When you think of those words, what comes to mind?
Oh, child. I was thinking about it so hard because I have had some experiences and I couldn't laugh then and I can barely laugh now, but you might get a little, man, that was crazy. And a little, you might get a little smile out of me. So I literally did not know which one to pick. But I think this one particular story hits on everything that you just said,
okay,
right?
Cool.
I had this guy. We had been friends on Facebook for years, and I always saw him posting funny stuff, and he's so funny, da 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 da, whatever. And then I was going through a separation with my second husband, and me and him, we just kind of end up inboxing each other and talking. And, I was like, yeah, I'm filing for a divorce, X, Y, and Z. He was like, well, look, I want to date you. And he didn't live here in Atlanta. He lived in South Carolina, I think. He lived in South Carolina. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So within 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks of us dating, he started saying he loved me. You know what? It's fine, because he's been following me for years and we're connecting on a personal level, on a deep level.
Okay.
Then he was, oh, you know what? I got you a ring.
Oh.
Yeah. And he showed me the ring receipt and everything. And I was so happy. And then he was like, I'm going to come down to Atlanta on your birthday. I was like, okay. So I was like, well, I got to work, so let me know when you get here. I waited for that boy all day. He did not show up.
What?
Yeah. So even then, I still didn't feel no kind of way. Because I was like, okay, well, he had to work. It is what it is. It's cool. Then Thanksgiving came. And I was supposed to go to South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Me and my children. We were supposed to go to South Carolina. He had rented this nice hotel. I had taken the day off from work, everything. So as we were getting ready to go, I had my bag packed and everything. Mm-hmm. That morning, but early in the morning, I get a text. Hey, don't come down because I got to work. I was like, huh? And he said, well, let me show you the screenshots from my supervisor. So he sends me the screenshot from the supervisor, where the supervisor's telling some man, yeah, you got to come in and work, this, that, and the third, and the other. And he was like, man, come on, boss. I told you my girl coming down here, and da-da-da-da. And I'm looking, because I'm a writer. Yeah. So writing has a tone.
Right.
And I'm not saying that it's completely impossible, but I'm saying how you and your supervisor got the same tone.
That is weird.
That's crazy, right?
Right.
So I kept sitting there, and I just finally, I'm grown. I don't have time for it. I just finally said, yo, did you write these texts? He was like, you sound crazy as hell right now. You a grown woman. Who got time in their day to do something like that?
Clearly you do.
I don't know. But probably you. I'm thinking you. So then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to even do this. I'm not going to even worry about it. And so next thing I know, he ended up talking to my best friend. He's talking to my best friend saying, hey, she did this and she did that. And my best friend like, yo, Mo, she be having money. She got Louis Vuitton bags. She got this. So you ain't finna come for her like that.
Right.
So then she was like, well, he really just wants y'all to sit down and talk. I said, okay. I gave him another shot. Gave him another shot.
Oh, my God.
He says, you know what? I'm coming to Atlanta. We finna put this to rest. I'm coming to Atlanta. This, that, and third, and other. I was like, okay, cool. I waited. I saw on his Facebook page that he had checked into the Atlanta airport.
Okay.
And he showed a Uber screenshot where he was catching an Uber. And so I thought he was here until I didn't hear from him the rest of the day. So it just so happens that my best friend was friends with another girl who was from South Carolina, who was his mutual. And they called me on three-way, and she said, Mo, I don't think he got a girlfriend. I don't know what's up. She said, but you know what? I'm not really friends with him. I'm friends with his sister, but we're friends on Facebook because I do know him.
Yeah.
So she reached out to him. She talked to him. He won another chance. Okay, we're going to give him another chance, but he still was acting stupid. She said, you know, I'm done. I'm going to call his sister.
Oh.
Called his sister on three-way. Sister said, honey, go back and work stuff out with your husband because my brother, he does this. This is what he does. She was like, he has a whole fiance. They live together. I said, well, what's all this about his daughter coming? She was like, his daughter, he don't even have custody of his daughter. He can't even see his daughter. Everything he's telling you is a lie.
What?
She was like, the car that he's FaceTiming you in is the girl's car. He doesn't call you after a certain time because he's going to pick her up from work, and they live together. The ring that he shows you, she was like, this ain't the first time. You ain't the only one. He do this to everybody. She was like, that's her ring that she bought for them to get married.
What?
He was not a cop like he said he was. He was using his sister's husband's uniform. Yeah.
So, did he work at all?
Child, I don't know. I ain't even get past go and collect $200 after that point. It was just so much. And then, you know, it was just a lot. And I was like, man, this is crazy. But I did save the text messages and I did screenshot certain things and save them just in case anything ever popped back off at me. I can go say, you know what? Hey, no. He was never in Atlanta when he said he was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, Facebook lets you check in wherever you want to. I can be sitting here with you right now and check in Paris, and I'm not even there.
Really? I did not know that.
You can order an Uber, and you're not even there. I mean, of course, your phone knows where you are, but it don't know who you ordering it for.
That part. But I didn't know you could literally check in on Facebook and wow.
So he was never at Hartsfield Jackson. Like he was never there.
So did you confront him after you?
I did, and he told me his sister was lying. Boy, I ain't got time for this. He told me she was lying. He was like, you know, I want to be with you, this, that. Look, I unfriended him on Facebook. It was terrible because me and this boy have been friends on Facebook for years.
How long did the span, like, between y'all starting to talk and to
it was about 3 months.
Okay, so it wasn't too bad.
Nah, he told me he was going to, since I was getting a divorce, he was going to send me the money for me to move out. He told me to go look for apartments. He was going to help me me and my girls move into an apartment. He was going to get us furniture. He was going to do all of this stuff. He was showing me videos with money that was their rent money. He never had intentions on doing any of those things.
Oh, my God. So he never came to Atlanta either?
Never.
So you never saw him in person, nothing?
Never.
So I'm assuming because of what you was going through with your divorce and your second husband is probably why you even entertained the
Absolutely.
Other thing for so long.
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn throughout that, after all of that?
You know what? Apparently nothing.
Don't say that.
I just, you know, I don't feel like I learned anything because there was nothing to learn in that situation. He was just a flat out liar. Like, I can't say I learned stuff that I was already catching on to. You know, I don't know what made me say, wait a minute, hold on. Are you your supervisor? You know, I don't know. But then I sat there and tested the theory out on myself. I text myself from my phone to my phone.
Yeah.
And I just went and deleted.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, he had 2 phones as well.
Okay.
He had 2 phones as well. So it just...
Do you think you would when you, like you said, you was catching.
Yeah.
You was catching all the red flags. Do you think you would continue to test out the waters even though you know something's up? Would you continue on, you think, if you really like the person at this day and age?
No. I mean, I'm 40 at this point, and a lot of times people, they do try to play on your emotions, and at our big age, I feel like people are very much aware of what they do. They are calculated, and they know what they're going. They know what they're doing. If you're in a relationship with somebody, or a marriage, or a long-term relationship, or whatever the case may be, you're supposed to at some point know you and your person. Your person's supposed to know you, and you're supposed to know your person. So if you see your person doing something and you react, and now all of a sudden that person is upset by your reaction, I feel like, bro, you knew what this was gonna cause.
Right.
You knew the reaction, and you didn't care. You made a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You made a choice. I was talking to a friend the other day, and she's in the industry as well. And she was like, I have to trust my husband because he's around beautiful women. And I'm in the entertainment industry, and I'm around handsome men or whatever. And she was like, I don't cheat on him, or I don't do wrong by him, not because I'm afraid of losing him, or not because of what he may think. She was like, I don't want to deal with God. And I felt that. I felt when she said that, because people can be out here acting a fool on you. They could be out here showing their whole ass on you, mistreating you, wronging you, whatever, blaming you for every single thing, acting like they didn't do nothing. And you could say, you know what, I'm just going to go find me another dude. Because I'm telling you, the dudes at Quick Trip love to see a woman dressed up for work. They love that.
They do.
They love that. You can go to Quick Trip in the morning with your coffee and get about 12 numbers just based off the fact you got on your little kitten heels and your little work clothes. You can work in a call center. They don't care. You got a job. And they see that you have a job, and they like that. And it's easy. But I don't want to feel the wrath of God either. If I'm ever in a situation and I have to move from that situation, I want him to protect me. I want him to provide for me. I always say, no matter what it is, God, you saw this from start to finish. You saw what I did and what I didn't do. I don't want to do nothing just because this person is wronging me, because I want my next situation to be blessed. I don't want to go through this no more.
Gotcha. So let me ask you this. Now that you're, like you said, you're 40 now, what things do you do so you don't run into situations you had to deal with from the past where God had to kind of help you and pull you out of them?
I don't even think I have. I think sometimes we have to keep repeating, unfortunately, the same lessons until we get it. Are
you really one of those people that, do you put your all into it, and you just say the good girl in the way and do all that you can and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Regardless of what other people may think. Yes. I know that I have. And the crazy part is, the reason why I do it is because I know when I'm officially done with somebody, I'm done with them. I don't care what they do. They can bring me flowers, roses, whatever. It's just no point. It's no point. And this is really like the first time I'm ever talking about it out loud. But I know with my ex-husband, I tried so hard. I tried everything. I tried giving him divorce papers to scare him.
Yeah.
And he kept sitting there playing his video game, acting like it didn't matter. And I just couldn't get through. At the time I gave him the divorce papers, did I want the divorce? No, I didn't. But I wanted him to act right. I wanted him to appreciate me. I wanted him to love me as much as I loved him. But I wasn't getting that from him. So I thought by handing him the divorce papers, he'd be like, okay, wait, I'm about to lose my wife. Let me try to, whatever. And it didn't work out like that. And then ultimately we ended up separating. And I went to my house, my apartment. And then 3 months later, he said something to me on IG. I was just at a point where I was getting over it.
Yeah.
I was just at that point where me and the girls, we had moved into our apartment. I had just started going back outside. That was my first damn day outside. That was my first day outside. At the, I was at this little lounge, and my client, my friend, my little brother, he was performing.
Yeah.
And I was finna have fun. And I left the little spot from having fun, and I had a DM on Instagram. I need to get my so-and-so. I was like, okay, that's cool. I'll have my parents meet your parents. And then the conversation continued. He was like, well, I was like, bro, look. He was like, can you call me? Because I don't want to keep talking on the phone. So I called him from my daughter's phone because I had got my number changed.
Got you.
When I called him on the phone, he started talking and it ended with, I love you, I want to make it work, this, that, and third, and another. So I gave it another go. We were dating. We started off dating. Okay. I didn't tell him where I lived at. And one day my car broke down while we were, and he had to come get me. And I had no choice but to tell him where I lived at. And then he moved next door.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know why everybody look at me like that when I say that.
No, that's more for him. Like, wow.
He moved next door to me. It was 2 apartment complexes really close by. If you come this way, you come to my apartment complex. If you go this way, you go to his. He moved next door to me. And we were still trying to make it work. And it just got to the point where I was tired of the being mean. That's what I don't like. I don't like when you're married to somebody and you've taken vows before God, and you can be so mean to somebody because your wife is not like the other women that you've had. There had to be something that set her apart from the rest, that made you want to put a ring on her finger, that made you want to give her your last name. But you can't be with your wife or your husband and treat them the way that you've treated your ex-girlfriends or your ex-boyfriends, because they have a whole different title.
Understood. Let me ask you this. Do you think you've dealt with guys in the past who had mommy issues? Maybe they had strained relationships with their mom, or maybe they've seen their mom do crazy things and then they have issues trusting women. And then here you come, this godly woman, this woman who do anything.
I don't know. I mean, because in my ex-husband, he had 2 moms. He had his mom and he had his stepmom. And they were both, on the forefront, they were both really nice to me. They I don't know what they were saying to him behind closed doors about me. But they were really nice to me. They were really nice to my children. The entire family was.
They probably were really nice. I'll give you an example. I had an ex who had mommy issues and didn't know he had mommy issues, and he does not trust women to this day. And it was more so he'd seen his mom cheat on his dad.
That's crazy.
So, you know what I'm saying? Different things like that. So I'm just wondering, have you ever, like, maybe when you really talk to these men and when you really get to know them, have they expressed like traumas and issues to you? No.
My ex-husband, I just think he was
just mean.
He was just petty. Don't
be the worst.
I remember one day I didn't have any money, and he was, he had got laid off his job because of the whole COVID thing, and he was drawing unemployment, and he was drawing that extra stipend with the unemployment. Oh, yeah. So he had money on top of when he filed the claim, and they gave him the back pay. Yeah. So he had the money. And at the time, I was doing PR. I was talking to one of my clients, which he knew the person. And I was talking to my client on the phone, and my client was telling me about a contract. And I was talking to him, and my ex-husband walked in the room. He just walked in there, walked in the bathroom, and walked out, which was crazy because all his, manly stuff was in the bathroom downstairs, his shaving kit and all of that stuff. So to just come in there and immediately walk back out, you didn't need nothing. You was just coming in here to be nosy, to see who I was talking to. And there was nothing inappropriate going on. So after I finished the conversation, I text my daughter and I said, hey, go ask him, what we eating for dinner tonight. She went in there, she asked him. She texted me back. He said, oh, just y'all figure y'all stuff out or whatever. Oh. So I sent her back in there. The third time, she texted me back saying that he cursed. Not necessarily at her, but in whatever he was saying. So that's when I said, okay, let me eliminate my daughter out this situation. Yeah. Let me go in there and ask him, because I don't know what type of time he on right now. Yeah. And I went in there and I asked him, and he was like, I don't care what y'all eat. Eat bread and drink water. And that's what he said to me, knowing I didn't have any money. I literally, at the time, had $11 to my name because, of course, I was in between pay periods or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I just packed my girls up. We lived around the corner from McDonald's, and I knew my kids eat the same thing, and I knew how much I could spend to feed us. So I got them something to eat. I came home, they ate, And about 3 hours later, you know, he came to me and so I was like, hey, y'all can go ahead and order some pizza or something. Not, bro, we already ate.
So you were dealing with pettiness and nastiness.
Absolutely.
To that effect.
Absolutely. You know, it was just even one of those times that we split up and we got back together. Somebody came in my inbox on Facebook and she was like, look, I just want you to know your husband been cheating on you the whole time y'all been together. She didn't say the whole time y'all been married, right? Because that would have been different. Maybe not, but it still would have been different. You're saying the entire time that we've been together. So I screenshot him and I say, hey, do you know this person? He was like, nah, I don't know who that is. Put us in a chat together. Ooh. I said, okay. So I put us in a chat together and he starts talking to the person and then the person calls him by his entire name. And then she was like, I don't have to explain nothing to nobody because you her husband, not mine. And then he goes, well, you know, I know this a fake page because anybody that know me knows that me and my wife ain't together. What the hell did I just read? Because then we wake up together this morning. So I text him. I said, hey, man, did you just tell this girl that we not together? Did you just say that? Yeah. And his response to me was, yeah, now go agree to it. Wait a minute, hold the hell on. Because most of the time, the man is telling the side chick to lie. The man is not telling the wife to lie to the side chick.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you went through all of that.
I did.
So just think about when you first got with that particular ex-husband to now. What do you look for? What did you decide to look for once you got back out there in the dating pool and within a man?
You know what? Being totally transparent, I really was not fully out of that situation.
Okay.
Before I met somebody else. And mentally, I was out of it. I had already filed the paperwork, whatever the case may be. And somebody else came along and I thought he was a nice guy. And when it came to the day we got married, did I have doubts? I absolutely had doubts. And I thought, you know, that's just my fear of what I went through with my ex-husband. That's holding me back. That's just my fear of thinking that I'm going to go through this again. And I don't want to go through this again. Because everybody was like, just take your time. Don't rush into it. And I was like, you know, no, I'm ready because I was in that situation. I feel like I was healing while I was in that situation and I'm ready and I'm ready for this. And he's got a young son and just all these things. And, that's, it wasn't me looking for anything. He just came along. He was saying all the right things. He came on very, very strong.
Okay.
Very, 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 very strong. But I was happy.
You feel like it was what you needed at that time?
Absolutely. I feel like at that time he was everything that I never knew that I needed. Like things that he did, I never thought about. Having somebody do those things, like fixing things around the house. He does that. And I never had that, you know. And he was coming in the picture, you know, I just want you and the girls. I want to take care of you and the girls. I want to go on trips. I want to do this. I want to do that. Da, 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 da. And, you know, he said he loved me first. And I was confused. He did so many sweet things just right out the gate. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, I had never had anybody be like that with me. And in my mind, I thought it was going to be like this forever. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up. So I'm going to dig into these questions.
Let's go for it.
Dig into these questions. Okay. What distinguishing qualities do you think that the kind of person you want is looking for in a partner?
Well, obviously, you want to have some things in common with somebody, but you don't want to have everything in common with that person. Because if you have everything in common with that person, it's going to get really boring really fast. Yeah. So, I don't know, because I was told when you're talking to somebody and you're getting to know somebody, you don't never tell them what you're looking for because they may try to become that, and it's not natural. It's just a way to trap you. So,
got you. I've been on the fence about that because I was just talking to another guest who said the same thing. And she said she used to do that. And then, like you just said, the guy would take on this person,
yep.
and then, the mask would fall. But then it's like, I don't know. I guess I'm like, why not talk about like things you may be looking for in a person, and then just really listen and pay attention to see if that person matches up? How do you not fall so quick?
Because, with my second husband, I actually had what I call a man recipe, where I made this list of all these qualities I wanted my husband to have. Mm-hmm. I made it. I prayed over it. I put it in my Bible. And when he came along, he was checking off all the boxes. He was checking off all the boxes, but somewhere down the line, that cake was not done. So I missed some ingredients.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this. Was it more external ingredients, or was it more character based?
It was definitely character based. Because
like
he was not. Yeah, it was definitely character based, because looks wise, that was not somebody that I would have gone for typically.
Okay.
So in my mind, I said to myself, maybe that's your problem. Maybe you need to remove the vanity aspect from it, because you stuck on the vanity. And, yeah.
Do you think he felt that in a way?
No.
And y'all really? No, you made sure he didn't feel that?
I mean, I grew to like him, so.
Got you. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, let me ask you, what do you feel someone benefits from being in a committed relationship with you?
I definitely think that I am going to give my all. I mean, that's kind of a hard question to answer, because sometimes people make me feel like I'm not the person that I think that I am, or I'm not the person that I say that I am, when I know that I am,
Like they're intimidated by you in a way?
Not even intimidated. You ever been in a situation where a person comes in telling you how amazing, how great you are, they uplift you, and then towards the middle or the end, they don't care about you no more. They say all the bad, negative things about you, and it's like, bruh, how can you say these things to me? How can you be this way? So I definitely think that I'm hella loyal. Okay. And it wasn't always that way. When I was in my 20s, baby, I'm sure we all, had whole tendencies or whatever. But when I was in my 20s, I used to make dudes cry.
Oh.
Yeah, I did. I didn't care. I used to make dudes cry. But then by the time I had my second daughter and I got married, I definitely think my second daughter softened me for whatever reason. I don't know what it was about the second baby that turned me into a punk, but apparently
you got a punk.
Man, listen, I turned into an entire punk with my second baby. But it's also growing up. I had a friend, which I'm assuming I'm no longer friends with anymore, and that's cool. I was listening to her talk, and she still talked like we in our 20s. She still use verbiage like she trying to keep up with the kids today. Yeah. And I ain't got time for all that. Like, if I hear somebody say something, I ask my daughter, hey, look, check this out. What is this? I am so good about asking my kids, what is this? Because I don't even know. Yeah. And I sure ain't gonna be on social media saying stuff like the new thing everybody keeps saying now. I know they ain't on Beyonce internet. Wait a minute, what is that? What does that even mean? What does that mean? What the hell does that mean?
I ain't gonna lie, I slipped up and said that a couple times. But now that you asking me what does that mean, like it's
how did it become Beyonce's internet?
Because she's like, I guess, a mega star or whatever, and everybody knows who she is. So then you just say Beyonce's internet.
Insane.
To be funny, I have said that.
That's crazy. The other one, I didn't know that everybody kept saying, oh, you did your big one. My big what?
I never heard that.
What is that? Oh, y'all ain't gonna lie. Y'all did y'all big one with that. Have y'all heard that? No, she have. My city girl daughter have. They're definitely, they're night and day. Gotcha. Very much night and day. But I have to go to them and ask them, bro, like, what this mean? Because I don't even know.
Got you.
Now, my mom, My mom, she doesn't work. She be at home. She be on social media all the time. She be watching TV all the time.
So she keep up with all this.
Honey, she be trying to. I be like, Ma, let me just this ain't it. I don't like it, Mama. What you doing? Don't do this, But I don't even try to keep up with it. I just know I'm gonna have to ask somebody before I say it. And I'm not old at all. I just listen. It's a lot. When you do media, it's a lot of stuff to keep up with.
It is.
It's just be a lot.
Let me ask you this. What would you say is your most toxic trait?
Oh, Lord. I can honestly say my most toxic trait is trying to force people to talk about stuff when they don't want to. I'm trying to work through that, but it ain't working.
It ain't working?
Yeah, because I be
parent yourself, like, through the anxiety of wanting to talk about something.
That's what the thing is. Like, I feel like if I don't say it or I don't get it off my chest, that it's going to eat me alive.
Have you tried journaling or writing it out?
I do that.
Yeah, you do your
But
best.
I feel like I need to say it to the other person. Have you tried, like, voice notes on the phone? Listen, my husband just hung up in my face before I got here because I was trying to get out a certain thing, and he's not even trying to hear it. And I was calm, he was calm, but as the conversation continued, he was actually the one that got loud. So it's like, yeah, I wasn't trying to make him upset. I wasn't trying to fight. I wasn't trying to argue. I really was just trying to say, look, this is how I felt.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had to get it off my chest, because when you're doing certain things like what I'm doing, it doesn't matter what you went through at home, what you got going on with your husband, your boyfriend, your kid. None of that matters. Yeah. These people are expecting you.
Yeah.
Whoever your persona is, they are expecting you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's so hard.
It is hard.
It is so hard to put on a smile or be polite when you know you dealing with stuff.
How do you balance it?
At the show, it's different, because when I go to the show, I can be pissed off before I go in there, and I can sit down pissed off. But when my engineer play my theme song, it's like my encouragement, because when my friend made the song, I was there. He had an in-home studio. I was there when they recorded the song. I was there watching the entire process. He wrote it out right then in front of me. And everything that he was saying, it hypes me up, because it's like, you that shit. You know what? You don't even matter. You that go mo. Yes. So it just hypes me up, and I be ready to go. And that's just that.
Let me ask you this.
That's my balance. Maybe I need to listen to my theme song in the car.
That might be it right now. How do you dig further than surface level? Like when you are upset, or when you are upset, or when something comes up. How do you dig beyond that?
Honestly, I try not to get too upset. And I know it's crazy and other people don't understand it. But when I was 19, my dad passed away.
Okay.
And we were in the house with him. And my dad was just always in such a good spirit most of the time. He was. And did I see my parents have arguments? Yeah, not a lot. Not harsh. I never saw my dad disrespect my mom. I never saw my mom disrespect my dad. I never heard my dad call my mom out her name. I never heard my mom call my dad out his name. And so in that, with how he died and how it was so sudden, I believe in certain things. Like, I don't like not talking to my spouse, because anything can happen. It ain't just about you being out here and you getting on the road and getting into a car accident. I can be home and somebody could do a home invasion, or anything can happen. So I try not to get in that space. But again, I'm a talker, and I talk to people. And I feel like sometimes by telling your story, you're helping somebody else. You never know how your story or your testimony could be something to help somebody else, because people could be really depressed and sad, feeling like, oh, why is this happening to me? I'm the only one going through it, and I'm the only one this ever happened to, when you're not. And my dad used to tell me that all the time. You're not the first and you're not the last. He used to tell me that all the time. So I try to keep that in me no matter what I'm going through. Somebody else done went through the same thing. You know, I can't sit around and cry. You get one day to cry, basically. And you get one day to cry. And I can't call my grandma and cry, because my grandma going to nip that in the bud. She going to tell me, stop it right now. I ain't trying to hear it. I can't call my auntie and cry. She'll listen to it for about 2.2 seconds. She'll be like, yeah, what we not going to do is this. This not what we not going to do this. And I have to say, you know what? You got to dry your tears and you got to figure it out. Because you can't sit there and cry. You cannot sit there and cry. I have children. Well, my oldest daughter, 22. So she count, but she don't count. But it's like, I have to figure it out. Because who else is going to help me?
Got you. Okay.
And I try to be positive for them. Like, you know, I definitely think I raised them right, because sometimes I can just not even be focused and in my zone, and I could be whining and complaining to them. And sometimes they give me that, you know what, I really don't even want to hear this type face. But sometimes they be like, look, Ma, check this out. Look, you know, and they'll give it to me for real, for real.
Got you. Okay. What makes you feel safe in a relationship?
I think what would make me feel safe in a relationship is knowing that that person chooses me every day. You know, nobody has the perfect marriage. It's just about two people committing to each other and committed to choosing each other every single day, no matter what.
Got you.
And, you know, if you are a biblical person, marriage really is like a contract. Yeah, I'm on my third marriage, but my first two husbands, they broke the contract. You know, one tried to come home and catch me on the phone, and I literally was talking to my best friend about baby poop. Literally, it was baby poop, because we had, you know, my youngest daughter and her youngest son are the same age. And that's what we were talking about. Diapers. What's the best diaper? You know, do you get dry bottoms? That's Walmart brand. Do you get dry bottoms? Yeah, girl. You know, and that's what we was talking about. And when he walked in the house, he threw his phone at me. And then he left and he went back to work. I ain't think nothing about it. I went back to talking about baby poop. But then as I got out the tub and I went and got on the bed where the phone was at, I picked up the phone. And I went through his phone. And I saw text messages that said, I made an A on my test today, baby. Aren't you proud of me? So how do you come home trying to catch me on the phone and throw your phone at me, but you talking to somebody else anyway?
Why would he throw the phone at you?
I don't know. But he did. And it is what it is. I mean, other things happen. Other things happen to cause that marriage to terminate.
Got you. That was trying to be spiteful, and you wasn't even doing nothing but
I wasn't even doing anything.
I'm gonna ask you this last question.
Sure.
What would you say is the most misunderstood thing about you?
Ooh, I wouldn't even call it a misunderstanding. I would just call it somebody else's perception.
Okay.
Because, you know, in my current marriage, I always get told, you give me attitude, or you do this and you do that. And I guess for me, I've been with me for 40 years. I've been with me my whole life. I know how I am when I have an attitude.
Yeah.
I know how I am when I have an attitude. You're not getting that. I'm not giving you attitude. I don't know what you seeing. I don't know what words I said that led you to believe that I have an attitude, but I know me when I get an attitude for real, for real. And that hasn't happened. So that kind of baffles me a bit.
It baffles you a bit?
Yeah, it does baffle me a bit.
So you feel like that's the most misunderstood thing about you?
With him, it is. I mean, because people that know me, who've been in the media circle with me, you know, they know me. They know who I am.
Do you think they had to really get to know you to know that it's not an attitude?
I'm always the same. I'm always the same. The girl that was my bridesmaid, or my maid of honor at my second wedding, shortly after I got married, we fell out. And we haven't talked to each other in years.
Yeah.
But it just so happened about a month or so ago, because we was always at the same thing and seeing each other. We could be standing right next to each other like this and not say nothing to each other. And it was crazy. But we made it work. I could be like, excuse me, let me get by, and still not say nothing.
Yeah.
And one night, she kind of just pulled me to the side and she asked me, could she talk to me? I said yes. And she apologized to me. And she said, you know, look, I had some stuff going on and I know you're not this person. And I know that I'm not perfect. I know that I'm not flawed. But I know that when it comes to being in a relationship with me, I'm not all the neck rolling, the air grabbing, the finger popping, get all in your face. I'm not doing all of that. Have I? Yes, absolutely. Because people take it there sometimes. They take you there sometimes. But I have tried to stay calm and not come out of character a lot. But I feel like sometimes you have to snap on people because you keep being nice for so long and they keep giving you they ass to kiss that you finally be like, bro, look, hey, man. Hey, female.
Yeah.
No.
I feel that.
You just gotta, it is what it is. You gotta stand up for yourself. Me, I've always been small in stature. I've always looked hella young. And people just, they like playing in my face for some reason. You know, people, like I said, they're very calculated. They do certain things. They know what they're doing. But then when you point it out to them, it's like you thinking beyond the bag.
Let me ask you this, though.
It's crazy.
Do you feel like you've had to put on kind of a hard exterior in a way because of your small stature and because of the things that you went through?
No, I feel like people wanted me to. You know, definitely when I was promoting clubs and stuff like that, they was like, no, you got to act like you that bitch. You got to act like you this and da-da-da-da. And I was like, but I don't want to, you know, because I never wanted to be nasty to anybody. When I'm on the internet and people compliment me, guys or girls, I try to hit the like button. I try to say thank you. You know, my husband doesn't necessarily like that, but for me, it's like, hey, look, I'm not flirting with them. I just don't want to be that stuck up person that make people feel like I think I'm better than them.
Do you feel like you fighting that though in a way? Because you feel maybe people already think that of you, and then now you're trying to prove that you're not that?
No, because I've been the same way ever since. I've always liked comments. I've always said thank you.
Got you.
Because, you know, I'm not at Beyonce level where I can just make a post and not give a caption.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? She can do that. She can make a post like they idolize her. She could post her big toe and it can have corns and be the worst big toe you've ever seen. But they'll be like, oh my God, you can tell she's such an amazing queen by her toes.
That's why they be like, that's on Beyonce's internet.
That's crazy.
That's why they be like that.
Child, that is demon work right there. Because I've never seen between Beyonce internet and then the imaginary beef that people got, like they really know Cardi B and they really know Nicki Minaj and they fighting and defending them. I'm like, oh, I don't belong here. Like, I don't belong here. I got 8 Facebook pages. I got all these IG pages. If it wasn't for my brand and my business, I swear to God, I wouldn't be on there.
I believe it.
It's a lot of reasons I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be on there because men have preyed on me. They have watched me on social media. Yeah. They have came into my life with intentions that were not pure. And it's like, dang, I just want, because people think, and it's crazy. So,
okay. What advice would you give to the listeners today in regards to dating, relationships, love?
I would say if you have doubts about anything, most definitely don't ignore your doubts. And that's pretty much it. Because you cannot like a person or you cannot like a person or not be feeling a person and not know why. You just know that you don't. And you can go back on your word, and that person can end up hurting you more than anybody else has ever done. Because it hurts more because you knew better. Or you thought you knew better.
Gotcha.
It hurts more because you stepped out and you gave somebody a chance that you normally wouldn't have even thought twice about. But you decided to get out of your own way and give somebody a chance, and you ended up hurt. So don't ignore the flags. Don't ignore the intuition, and don't do so much compromising with yourself, Don't sit there and be like, well, at least he do this and da-da-da-da. Because I've always said that I feel like men come in the relationship and they give you an Easter speech. And the Easter speech is always, I like you. I don't see nothing wrong with you. And I don't know why he did you like that, but I ain't nothing like that. I ain't gonna do you like he did you. That's the problem right there. You did it. And then he be right. He don't do you the way that the other person did you. He do some new stuff to you. He do some other stuff to you, And it's like, oh my God. Like,
got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where can the audience find you?
So I am on IG at Miss Mo Clark. I'm also on IG at Miss Media Bay. If you want to follow my show, it's The Post Up. That's DAPOSTUP. The website is www.thepostupshow.com.
Y'all check her out. Her interviews are fire, and I'm going to have all of those links in the show notes. And until next time.